All right, we're back with another Bears Nation podcast. Breakdown myself, Kellyn Lapka, alongside Kellyn Gerenstein. We're here breaking down third-round pick, Velus Jones Jr., wide receiver out of Tennessee. Blazing fast speed from Velus. So we're going to get into the tape here. We're going to show about 3 plays of Velus and show you what he brings to Chicago Bears. Kellyn, based off your initial reaction of what you've seen from Velus, let's get into it, man. Are you excited? What are you feeling about Velus?
Yeah, man, I'm apprehensive, I think is the
Yeah,
correct
that's a good word, man. Good word, man.
I appreciate it. I think that I just told you we're gonna have to get creative to how we use him, because he's not gonna be a do-it-all football player for your team. He's not gonna be we've been really spoiled with Darnell Mooney, because Darnell Mooney can do it all. We've seen him take handoffs. We've seen him catch screens. We've seen him take both those for touchdowns. We've seen him be a deep threat. We've seen him break off some of the best corners in the game at the intermediate, short, deep levels of the field. I don't think that's Velus Jones, okay? And that's okay, because not everyone can be that. Not everyone can be that guy for your football team. Do I think Velus Jones can be a productive football player for us? Yes, absolutely. And I think we're going to have to get creative with how we use him. He was in motion a lot at Tennessee. Their offensive scheme was really based on a lot of those now screens, those key screens, RPOs, and pre-snap motion, using orbit motion, using jet motion. So he wasn't getting the ball in a ton of different ways. He wasn't asked to run a lot of the route tree. His route running, I would say, is about average. I'd say it's average.
Yes.
I think his drops are the biggest thing on tape. I think drops are the biggest thing that he has to work on. And I was telling my roommate this. I was like, I don't know about this guy. He's the drops are really scary, and he said, well, Devonta Adams had some drops first couple years in the league. I was like, all right.
Good point.
Good point. And again, Velus Jones, probably not Devonta Adams, but we see him here in this classic of the Music City Bowl, Tennessee versus Purdue from 2021, high scoring output. And this is just, there's not a lot of things that I can say that are special when we're going to watch Velus Jones with Kyler Gordon, Darnell Mooney, all the breakdowns we've done so far, Justin Fields. I think there's some plays that we could break down and we're like, damn, that was good. That was special. And I don't know if there's a lot here with Velus Jones to say that, but there is some stuff that could get you excited about him, right? And here, this is what we call route tempo in football, right? A little hop off the line, hop, skip, and a jump, we'll call it. Setting them up outside, using the head movement, playing basketball, right? Receivers left, Stephon Diggs left, right? You're crossing someone over, going through the legs behind the back, play basketball with them, break them down. That's what you do. That's how you get open. That's how you create separation in the NFL. And again, Velus Jones is not a perfect route runner by any means. I think he moves fairly well. And this is about some of the best route running tape that you're going to get. But this is why you draft him. This is what the Ryan Poles and those guys, when they sit in the meeting, they say, this is good stuff. We can work with this. Now let's get more of this out of him. Let's make this the consistent part of his game, rather than say this is the best part of his tape. Let's make this consistent. Exactly. And now you're relying on your coaching to do that as well. You're relying on your coaching to put that into motion. And this is against the linebacker, right? This is against this overhang right here. So we're not saying this is against your nickel backs, your safeties, whatever. But it does show that, hey, I know how to get open. I know how to break a guy down. This is what you want to see more of on tape. He's not pressed. He's not, fiddled with at the line. You're not getting hands on him. But this is fine. This is still good. This is stuff we want to see. I'm not sure how much he'll be getting the ball over the middle like this in this area, this intermediate, 10 to 15 yard range over here, right in between the hashes. Like, I don't know how much he'll be getting the ball there, but I mean, it shows that he can do it, right? And again, when you're scouting, when everyone is scouting, you don't say, this is what this guy did in college, this is what he'll do in the NFL. You say, this is what I saw him do in college, and this is what I believe he can be and do in the NFL. And God bless, that's what I hope that the Bears are doing with a guy like Velus Jones. But just a quick clip, and most of these aren't, like I said, they're not special. We're not saying that this guy's like, oh, we got to steal. This is not what we're saying. No. But it is. I think he does have some fun stuff on tape. He does have some stuff where guys are breaking down, defensive backs. But there's some fun stuff on there for sure. And the drops have to be fixed, but there's still some good stuff.
That last clip was hilarious. If you are watching this on YouTube, rewind back to it and watch the guy at the bottom of the screen who literally just stops. He literally just because he knows the ball is going to the left side there. The wide receiver literally just
Let me go back to it.
He runs one step and stops, and that's why I was laughing while you were giving your spiel. Not because anything you were saying was wrong or funny. It's just go back to the beginning of this clip and watch this guy at the bottom of the screen.
Right here, yeah.
He's like, I know I'm not getting the ball. Great effort from that guy at the
Look at this guy too. Look at that. Let's just nothing.
Man, was this like fourth? It's like triple overtime here. What what are we doing?
I don't know, man.
No, it's not. But
10. I think this game did go into 1 or 2 overtimes. But Tennessee, they love to split the field in half. So
yeah,
Hooker was their quarterback was not coming down here with the ball. So
yeah,
that's something he's gonna have to learn, right? There's probably tape of him doing this too. And
yeah, maybe
team, because they split the field in half, but. That is pretty funny that you noticed that. This is like flag football right here.
Yeah, literally.
Like, I'm tired.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm good.
But yeah, so obviously we know about Velus. What do we know? We know he has a top end speed. The 40-yard dash is 4.31. And actually he tweeted out a video of him running the 40-yard dash from the view of the the on-field view of it. So it's like a vertical view of him running the dash. And he was actually saying, he could have ran faster in a 4.31 because when he ran his 40-yard dash, he kind of went out a little bit, and he tweeted, he said, quote, the key to running a fast 40-yard dash is running in a straight line. And he didn't do that. So and the speed on tape reflects the fact that he could be a top and 4.2 runner. I mean, honestly, he could be. And that's why they drafted him for that top end speed. But as Kellyn mentioned, you can't come in the league just with that, right? I mean, we saw John Ross years ago run the fastest 40-yard dash time of any player in NFL history, and he, flared out in the NFL after 2 years because he couldn't do anything but run fast, and that's why you have to rely on coaching as well to, get this guy to run routes better, get this guy to understand how to get open and find open holes in the defense, and that's what they'll do. But they're from a pure athleticism and speed standpoint, that is there. Now you have to build on that, trust in your coaching. I have more confidence that they can do that with this regime, but let's take a look at this next play.
Yeah, and real quick, Velus Jones, 9.05 relative athletic score. We talked about Kyler Gordon's 9.69, which was extremely top end. Velus Jones still top 10%, 249 out of 2,613 wide receivers measured. So that's still top 10%.
And he's 204 pounds, man. That's good athleticism and speed for a guy who's 204 pounds.
Absolutely. So again, we're going to try and get as much excitement out of this. We're going to try and be as happy as we can with this. But this is the Tennessee against Ole Miss, and we got a free play here, right? But this corner is still got to cover Velus Jones, and you just see him making a miss, right? Just see this guy making a miss and off coverage, boom, plant inside, get outside. That's very fluid.
I like that. That is good.
These are the flashes we saw on this tape. I'm not saying that this is what I consistently saw, but that's some pretty good in and out movement, being able to get in a break, out of a break, and right back to where you were going. I mean, it really doesn't look like he lost a step. And obviously he's able to finish the play. I don't know if they marked that as a touchdown, but it looks damn sure like he got into the end zone. That's a good effort at the end of the play. The big things that we're thinking, if you go back to the stream, why me and Kevin were like, Velus Jones, I don't know if this is who we want. And one, he's 25 years old right now, which is rough. Probably not going to get a second contract at the age of 29 for a receiver, but you're still getting a guy that is going to help your football team. You're getting a guy that is going to win vertically a lot. He does it on tape, but it's just that separation at all other points of the game. We just haven't seen that yet. So here, this is fun. This is good stuff. We can see here. Look at that. Like, this is basketball again, right? This is just a crossover. One way, the other way. Boom, and then get vertical. And he knows that he has to win more inside.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
He knows his safety is here.
Yes.
Still bending this toward the post, staying up the hashes, not drifting. Breaks his tackle, falls forward. Looked like a touchdown to me, but
looks like a touchdown.
Just some fun stuff here. Just top end of his tape again, and still going up, making a catch with his hands. He's a little bit of a body catcher sometimes on tape, which is not always his fault. Hendon Hooker has a rocket for an arm. I've seen this guy throw the ball from Knoxville to Memphis on this tape sometimes. So there's probably some broken fingers in that locker room after a couple games. But this is what we want to see, man. This is the fun stuff from Velus Jones. This is what we're going to look at and be like, okay, he can be a contributor. He's probably not going to be able to play outside as much. He does have production and tape on the outside more in 2020 than 2021. But I think slot is a perfect thing for him in the NFL. There's plenty of tape where him, like I said, motioning, orbit motion, jet motion, in and out of the backfield, catching screens, doing a lot of different things. Just not as much of the route tree translational NFL stuff that we saw from college directly to the NFL. We're just banking on him being able to do it. And he's going to have time. I mean, like I said, he's 25, but you still get him on a 4-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that by the end of his rookie contract that he's going to be an old dog. It just probably means that he won't garner a great second contract is all that means. But as a rookie, we still can expect a lot from him. And he's going to bring a maturity level to that receiver room too, even for a rookie that they're going to appreciate.
Absolutely. And you look at the end of this play as something he was actually known for a while, for a while in college, was his ability to make get yards after the catch and that yak ability.
Yes.
That's one of the number one things about Velus Jones Jr. is, yeah, he's got the speed, but he can also play through contact. And that's why you see, it's a rare combination of size and speed at 204 running a 4.31, or even if you think he has the speed that reflects a top end 4.2, that you watch it right here. I mean, this is a hit from a safety. It's not the biggest hit, but he stays on his feet, has got good balance, and gets into the end zone. So, I mean, you see that he does possess the ability to get, through a receiver with, good, strong head movement here and good twitchiness there. But you can just tell, even comparison to Darnell Mooney, like when you watch Darnell Mooney, like the twitchiness is just on a different gear, a different level. And that's why, like, when I watched Velus Jones Jr., like I didn't even see the same twitchiness as I saw in a guy like Calvin Austin. But there's other reasons why they took him instead of Austin. Austin ended up falling into the 4th round. And the other thing too is there's reports that, Poles and Fields, it's not reports, they said that Poles and Fields were watching the tape together. And we mentioned this on the stream. You said if Fields was in Poles' ear saying, hey, this is a guy we want on the team. You have to take that in consideration. Obviously, Cal said, well, you hire the scouts for a reason. You can't just abandon what they say, but you also have to take into fact, like if Justin Fields wants this guy in his team and thinks he can work well with him, that works. And you also think about the strength of Justin Fields and the strength of Velus Jones. Justin Fields is a great deep ball thrower. And right now, the forte of Velus Jones Jr.'s game is the vertical threat and the ability to do things down the field. So, and you think about now, what are the Bears trying to do? Why are they bringing in a guy like Velus Jones Jr.? Look at their roster. Every one of them are 4.3 runners right now. I mean, you have Darnell Mooney, a 4.3 runner. Byron Pringle, 4.3 runner. Velus Jones Jr., 4.3 runner. I don't think Daz Newsome was actually, or what, he might have been 4.4.
I think he was 4.4.
Equinemius St. Brown, who I might not even make the roster, is a 4.3 runner. Like, you are bringing in fast players. And why are they doing that? Well, Ryan Poles comes from Kansas City. They're trying to replicate. And that's just the way the NFL is nowadays for the most part. You need fast players across the board, and you can do a lot of fun things when you have 4.3 speed players across the field. So they're going to be able to do some fun things with Velus Jones Jr. And also the returning aspect is there. But let's take a look at you got anything else for this clip?
Yeah. Real quick. Just see how he sets him up, right? So we're gonna stem inside, and as soon as Velus sees that this guy takes a step toward this
just
way,
one, it's just slight, but
boom. Now he knows he's got him set back to the outside. Just makes him miss, and he gets right back on his track too, right? Starts on the hash, he gets a little bit outside the hash and gets right back to it. Catches the ball right on the hash, right where he's supposed to. Gets in the end zone. That's some route running knowledge. That's some good stuff that we're seeing there, and fun stuff. Like I keep saying the word fun, but like, the top end of his tape is fun, and it kind of does excite you, because as we're talking, the more we watch, the more we talk about it, the more we're like, all right, this guy might be able to fit. We might be able to get a good amount of stuff out of him. So now, University of Georgia, right? 2021 best defense of all time. Haley Ringo.
Would you say it was?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
100%. Best college defense of all time. Trayvon Walker here, Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, Channing Tindall. This is Lewis Seen, first round pick of the Minnesota Vikings, right here lined up over Velus Jones. And this is separation, right? This is moving the sticks. What I said this when we were live for the draft. The Bears need to their goal needs to be get 1 or 2 first downs every drive, right? No 3 and outs. Don't put your defense in that position. You're not going to score a lot of points. And that shouldn't be the mindset of Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy should not go into the game thinking like, well, I mean, shit, my offense sucks. We're only going to score 14, 17 points. So that shouldn't be. But they need to keep moving the ball, keep their defense fresh. Move the chains. Move the chains. That's what you need to do. I don't know. This isn't 1st and 10. This looks like 2nd or 3rd and 8. But this is Velus Jones breaking down a 1st round pick and Lewis Seen. And Lewis Seen is really going to play a lot of split field and one high coverage because his range is very good. But he's still very, very good as a man-to-man safety, as you see it up here. The ball gets there. Velus Jones makes the catch. That's separation, right? That's all that matters when we talk about receivers. Separate and catch the ball. Separate, catch the ball. Separate, catch the ball. That's what matters. And that's what we do here. We're stemming inside, right? We see this is what we saw with Kyler Gordon. He's a little bit inside of the receiver. Lewis Cine is inside of Velus Jones. So Velus Jones is going to stem inside. He's going to keep threatening him. See how Lewis Cine is moving this way. His back pedal's going this way. He's got him moving backward. Now, boom, we turn the corner. And that's all it takes. You're not going to break a guy off. It's not going to be sexy. The last clip we saw, he really got a lot of separation, made that guy kind of look silly. The NFL is not full of those guys, but that's an NFL player. That's an NFL first rounder, and Lewis Cine, who we're making miss right here.
You watch him, he does kind of cross him over. He kind of, if you watch him at the top of the route here, you'll see if you watch his feet right there. Oh, he gets a little bit crossed over. What I like too at the end of this play is, he doesn't just catch the ball and run up to the sideline. He has the mentality to cut it upfield. So he doesn't have a lot of room, but he gets right here. Boom. He's trying to turn back upfield. So that's good awareness of the sideline as well, and trying to get extra yardage out of that. But I mean, yeah, man, that's breaking it down. You talk about separation. Okay, let's talk about separation, why that's important, and why, would you say, how would you rank Velus Jones' separation as an asset? We see it in this play, but overall as a player, would you say was it upper echelon of the wide receiver of like the second round, third round wide receivers, or where do you think he was with that?
What I say, it's upper echelon. I guess I wouldn't say that, but I would say it's definitely, like I said, it's good enough, right? Okay. It's good enough to where as a scout, if I see this, I don't know if pick 71 is the place that we're talking about for, a guy like him, where it's like, this separation is good enough for me to take him here. But again, this is all in the NFL and their staff. Ryan Poles and his staff looked at this guy and they said, well, we think that we can pick him here and we can get a lot out of him. We might disagree, but that's what we've got, man. And that's what we as fans have got. That's what the team has got. And that's what we're going to have to work with. The separation isn't the most consistent because Tennessee, they do a lot of stack. They run a lot of stack sets. So this guy will be right here. They'll be on top of each other. They'll throw a lot of screens that way. And they, like I said, they split the field in half. Velus Jones will do a lot of quick outs. And there were times when he'll catch a quick out right here, right? So he'll catch this ball like right outside the numbers and then zoom right back inside, make a guy miss. He really does have very good movement. As his route running, great, no, but you can learn to route. You can learn how to break down routes. My co-host Lorenz said this all the time, but this is our case for George Pickens and why we thought he was one of the better receivers in the class. Movement and route running are two different things, but you can't mistake a guy having good movement and a guy that has good movement but not great route running. That doesn't mean that he won't be able to develop that, because that's an easy translation. All you're doing is teaching a guy how to cross the guy over. Are you teaching him how to play basketball, dribble the ball, right? That's a lot of how receiver is. It's very simple. Stephon Diggs, watch him. He's literally going through the legs when he's playing football, literally playing basketball. Guys do it all the time. And I think Velus has got that in him. Not the Stephon Diggs aspect of route running, but I think he can separate, and I think there's some stuff to work with there.
Is Devonta Adams the most athletic receiver in the NFL? No. I mean, if you compare Devonta Adams to DeAndre Hopkins from an athleticism standpoint, to me, it's not even close. But the reason Devonta Adams is so effective is because the route running, and what you're trying to say basically is you can teach route running. You can't sometimes teach raw movement and athleticism.
Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, you can't teach it. There's ways to hone your athleticism skills, but as far as just your pure athleticism versus another guy, you can't teach that, but you can get your route running up to speed to another guy just, with the correct movements and the correct coaching. And that's why you have to trust this coaching. But real quick about separation is, the Bears for the past, I wouldn't say past 3 years, last year, most importantly, zero separation. And we talked about this on the stream a lot. And that was the biggest issue. You said, you can blame as much as you want on the O-line, and that's valid. You have to. They were one of the worst pass blocking units in the NFL. But it goes hand in hand with receivers getting open, because if Justin Fields can't get the ball to anyone, then the O-line has to protect longer. And then, of course, he's going to get sacked because no one's open. So then it looks like the blame's on the offensive line when really your receivers weren't getting open. And the Bears receivers outside of Darnell Mooney were getting open at really the lowest rate in the NFL. I mean, Allen Robinson was getting open rarely, or getting at least multiple yards of separation. Good. I was never seeing it. It's not because Allen Robinson's a bad receiver. I mean, I don't know what happened past year. He's not the greatest separator from the jump, but you're getting guys who can separate now. Byron Pringle can separate, and these guys can get open and find holes in the defense. And a lot of it comes from scheme, right? And we know how much of that comes from scheme, and is scheming guys open is the phrase that you'll hear so much. But if you're matched up one-on-one, scheme ain't going to help you all the time. You got to find your own way to get open. So they're looking for guys to create separation and make things easier for Justin Fields.
Absolutely. And the last clip here, kind of similar to the Purdue clip that we saw earlier. This is Velus Jones here at the slot, lined up here to the boundary. And this is against Florida. Solid defense, not on the level of Georgia, obviously. But here is kind of where we see the yak. Now he does get open in the middle. Stiff arm. Boom, put him right in the ground. Get some yards after the catch. Now, you're going to say, oh, Kellyn, he's supposed to be Kellyn, you guys said he was high 4.2s. What the hell? Why didn't he just break that tackle and get to the end zone? Of course, I would have loved to see him burst here and accelerate, but SEC athletes they look the same a lot, man. Those guys are ferocious on defense. And for the fact that we're going to stiff arm that guy into the ground and keep going, and we're going to finish the run off. Now, I don't know how much of the Bears will be doing as this spread out look here. And this is more of a coverage you see in college. This is just two man under over here, and then this is just man everywhere he goes over here, and then they just bracket Velus Jones here. So it's not really a coverage that's like super complex that you'll see in the NFL. You're going to see a lot of rotations, you're going to see a lot of safety movements. They don't get that here, but you're still getting open in the middle. He knows when to expect the ball, gets his head around, right? His head is already around. As soon as he clears this guy right here, he knows that the ball's got to come, because this guy's going to be able to break on it. Now he does slip, and he probably would be there to at least make this tackle, right here as soon as he catches it, more so than making this first contact 5 yards after. But this is still a good enough play where Velus Jones is breaking the guy down, making him slip.
Yeah.
That's football. It happens.
Yeah.
Put the stiff arm into him and keep going. Get 15, 20 yards after the catch. That's huge. You can't expect Justin Fields to just make every throw and move the ball down the field. You got to make plays after the catch, right? Look at Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce, those guys are doing it. Every good football team is having guys. Look, Jamar Chase making plays after the catch, Justin Jefferson making plays after the catch. That's how you win football games, right? It's not just A to B point. It's not just a connection A to B. Everyone has to do their job. Everyone has to play their part, And again, this isn't anything sexy. This isn't Velus Jones beating press coverage in a fancy way and winning this one-on-one ball over the top. But this just showed, like I said, me and Kevin are not going to hype him up to be this amazing, fantastic guy that should have went round one. This is a guy we're just saying this is what he can do. We're seeing him make yards after the catch. We're seeing him break tackles. We're seeing him get down the field and finish plays strong. Right? We saw him separate. This is a solid move here. This isn't the most flexible or fluid, but he does get his hips around, gets his head around. He knows that he doesn't have to take as much time at the top of the route because no one is pressing him. This guy's 7 yards off. This guy's not getting a hand on him. That's some knowledge, right? That's probably comes with him playing the game, being a 25-year-old, an older guy. That's fine. He's got that maturity. He's got that knowledge, right? He's played the game a long time. Comes with the territory. Not everything has to be sexy.
I know it seems like it does nowadays, the way we evaluate players and stuff and watch tape. But I mean, you just like we just did, I don't know how long it's been going, like a 20-minute breakdown. And I've seen 3 straight plays now where he's breaking down the defender, where he's making them, stumble a little bit. I mean, those are positive things to see. And we pick out the plays that make him look great. But I'm already, after watching this, a little bit more confident about his ability to get open versus just using his speed to get open, which is what I was kind of worried about at the beginning. And I said to you, the word or the phrase that I used was one-dimensional at the moment, for Velus Jones Jr. He's got his speed, but what else does he bring to the table? Well, I think already now from watching this, I could see that he does need work, he does need development, but that ability to get open is there more than I thought when I first saw the name pop up on the screen on TV. And I'm thinking, what the heck are we doing? Did we reach for this guy? But I mean, you see teams like, that's the other thing too about reaching for a guy like Velus Jones Jr. If you have conviction in your guy, like, that's fine. I mean, maybe not as far as like Cole Strange getting picked in the first round with the Patriots, but if you have conviction that you like this guy and there's reasons you like him and you can coach him up. I mean, projectability is something that's really important. We always think about, oh, who's the most NFL ready player? Is this guy ready? Projectability is something that you really have to take into factor and take in consideration. From the looks of it, this is a projectable player. So we didn't even show a clip of him and his ability to punt return and kick return. But if I had to guess, he's going to be the primary kick returner for the team. He's going to be the primary kick returner and punt returner. And you know the history of that in Chicago, not only with Devin Hester, but recently with Cordell Patterson,
Tariq Cohen.
How could I forget about him? I mean, you want a guy like that, man. It's exciting, and people don't underestimate the importance of field position. Do not underestimate it. So
absolutely.
Man.
Yep. And one more thing, and just so everyone knows that I'm not going to say just nice things about him. This is a body catch, right? If this is a guy like, an Elijah Moore, from last year's class, had really confident hands, you're going to see him catch this ball with his hands. This is a body catch, right? Catches it right on his number, bringing it in like this. That's something that's going to have to improve, right? Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to be confident through the catch point, confident through your hands, right? Confident in your hands and pluck that ball out of the air and keep on going. And you're right. He does let it get into his body and it does slow him down a little. Now, luckily he's athletic enough to make up for it, but I want to see him use his hands a little bit more as far as catching the ball. And Justin Fields has a strong arm too. There's not going to be any fall off from Hendon Hooker to Justin Fields as far as the NFL velocity goes. So, that's just something to point out, right? It's something we want to see a little bit better. Don't let the ball get in, but this is Yak, right? We're talking about what he can do for your football team. Yards after catch, move the chains. That's what we talked about.
And that's, you want to talk about how does a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes get so many yards? Does he physically throw 400 yards of air yardage? No, he does not. He throws dump offs to Tyreek Hill and Tyreek Hill runs 80 yards. But guess what? That's 80 yards on the board for your quarterback. So that helps your quarterback. And you think, again, we talk about what the Bears were so bad at last year. They were by far, I think it's not even close. They were less in the NFL and Yak. I think they had like 400 yards of Yak all year or something. Well, I wouldn't say it's that low. It's probably a little bit higher because of the Demir Bird play and the Jakeem Grant play.
I was going to say that
those two plays.
What a fluke too. Those were funny plays. I know.
But it's like if you think back to any play of the 2021 season, it's person catches ball, person falls to ground. Like it's no, catch ball, run afterwards. So that's why, and we'll sit here and tell you the Bears reached for Velus Jones Jr. They did. I mean, I wouldn't say they reached, maybe not reach for him, but we thought they could have been better players available at the time. Let's just put it that way. But, this is, we just showed you what he can bring to the table and hopefully they get the most out of him and you can coach him to a point where in 5 years, people will be saying, well, Velus Jones Jr. should have been taken higher. And that's what good coaching does. So there you have it. Velus Jones, do you have any other clips or is that last one?
No, that was it. All
right. So, I mean, you see it, man. You see the speed, you see what he could bring to the table. And you got an exciting class, man, across the board. What was the, Dominique Robinson, who's a guy that we're gonna talk about because that was your guy. You pegged him all along. And when he got drafted, you were hype about it. And some are saying that's the steal of the draft, not just for the Bears, but for everyone. But they all have, they all have the same thing in common: explosiveness, fast, good movement. So that wraps it up. We're going to be doing, we'll do a Dominique Robinson at some point. We'll probably do a Jaquan Brisker, maybe. And then I don't know if we'll get into Zach Thomas or even the punter, Brendan, what was his name? Brendan Gill. You got a punting breakdown for us, Kellyn? You could do that for us?
I could try, man. If the people want it, I'll do it. If the people want it, we'll do it.
If you want it, hit us in the comments or hit us on the DMs and Twitter or Instagram. But that'll do it for our second breakdown of the 2022 class. For myself, Kevin Lapka, and for Kellyn Gerenstein. We will see you guys next time for our Jaquan Brisker or Dominique Robinson breakdown. Thanks for watching. As always, smash that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Take care.